Hey guys, Justin here with AmericanMuscle.com. Today we're taking a closer look at and installing the LED dual beam projector headlights available for your 2005 to 2009 Mustang equipped with factory halogen headlights. Now you guys should be considering the projectors if you're looking to really modernize the headlight experience in your early S197 in both function and form. Something that will pack a 100% LED operation, which will drastically improve your nighttime visibility, all while taking some small inspiration from some of the later S550 Mustangs. Getting into our features here, guys, and for starters, these options are going to totally upgrade your dated and dim halogen reflector housings with a much more modern dual beam LED projector, which is not only going to look a lot cooler, but more importantly, it's going to drastically improve your visibility at night thanks to the bright dual beam LED output. Now, these headlights also kick up the styling thanks to the S550 style gills up here that are acting as your daytime running lights. They got kind of that angular look going on, and again, reminiscent of the 2018 through 2023 Mustangs. But the DRLs don't stop there. These lights also pack twin DRL bars both at the top here running horizontally along with the bottom as well. Now the latter, the bottom portion here, is actually going to serve as your turn signal thanks to the switchback technology or switchback LEDs that allow these lower bars to change from white to amber when those turn signals are activated. Now finally, guys, the drastic change to appearance here with these headlights installed can't really be overlooked or understated, and certainly is going to be another big feature with this particular light housing. Now, speaking of that housing, that's a great time to get into our construction block here. You're gonna be looking at a high impact black ABS plastic for majority of the build here, at least for the housings themselves, then topped off with a crystal clear UV resistant polycarbonate lens. I really like this combination because it's gonna deliver that darker, stealthy, more aggressive appearance, but at the same time, you're not gonna have to worry about it cutting down on your total light output like you would be with a smoke lens. Now, the lights have been given both the DOT and SAE stamp of approval. That's gonna make them legal for use in all 50 states. Finally, the lights are adjustable, so you can aim them properly after the install, and they do include all of the necessary wiring harnesses, making for a pretty simple install that's only gonna require a very small amount of additional wiring. Price point for the projectors will land right around that high $500 ballpark, just below 600 bucks basically, which is certainly gonna round out the upper end of the pricing spectrum here for the headlight category for your 05 to 09 Mustang at home. But you have to keep in mind here, guys, that these are gonna be a 100% LED upgrade from start to finish. Now, other options in the category, more affordable options, might kick in some LED DRLs or something like that, but at their core, they're still gonna utilize a halogen bulb, whether it be projector or reflector housing. They're still gonna use that kind of dated technology, and that's why that price is gonna remain a little bit lower. These, on the other hand, again, 100% LED from start to finish, so that's why you can see a slightly higher price point compared to some of those other options. But as always, guys, feel free to check out the rest of our selection here at AM before making your final decision. Finally, guys, let's get into the install, and the installation, according to the site, will get a middle of the road 2 out of 3 wrenches on the difficulty meter for a couple different reasons. First and foremost, that bumper will need to come off in order to swap out your lights, in addition to the small amount of wiring we mentioned earlier. Really not that difficult. I would say leave yourself a couple of hours from start to finish and you should be good to go. Now, to give you a better idea of what you're in for with the garage or driveway install, let's throw it out to the shop for our detailed walkthrough and tool breakdown.
Tools required for this install include a ratchet, a clip remover tool, a pair of scissors, needle nose pliers, some zip ties, a Phillips head screwdriver, a 5.5 and a 10mm socket. What's up, guys? Today we're installing a set of headlights on our Mustang. First, we're gonna watch a quick uninstall video showing you how to remove your factory headlights, and I'll meet you right back here for the install.
So for this install, we're gonna have to pop off our upper radiator cover and our front bumper. It's a pretty simple process. I'm gonna walk you through it, so let's get started. I'm gonna start by using my clip panel tool to remove the 6 push pins that hold the upper rad cover in. Then I'll pull the pins out, pull the rad cover off. Next, I'm going to take a 10mm socket on my ratchet and remove the 2 bolts on either side of the front bumper at the top. Next, I'm going to use a Phillips head to remove the 3 screws in the inner wheel well liner to gain access to the 2 nuts that are behind the wheel well liner, and I'm going to do this on both sides. With my wheel liner pulled back out of the way, I have access to the 2 10mm nuts here on the inside of the bumper. So I'm going to take my 10mm socket on my ratchet and remove those. And now I can do the same exact thing on the other side. So we're just about ready to pull our front bumper off, but before we can do this, there's still a couple screws on the bottom and there are some lights on either side of the bumper that need to be removed. There's 2 light sockets on either corner. I'm just going to twist them out and remove them from the bumper, and then I can pull my bumper off. And now I'll just do the same thing on the other side. So now I'm just going to use a 5.5mm socket and remove the 4 screws at the bottom of the bumper. So now I'm ready to pull my bumper away from my vehicle. While I do so, I'm going to unhook my 2 fog lights as I'm pulling everything out. Next, I'm just going to use my 10mm socket again to remove the 3 bolts that hold the headlight into place, and then I will disconnect the headlight connector from the back. There's 1 at the top and there's 2 at the bottom.
Now before we install our new headlights, we're gonna have to get our wiring situated first. We have a fuse tap harness, so I've got the tap right by the fuse box. We've got a shorter wire leading to a connector. It's gonna go to our passenger side headlight bucket, and then we're just gonna follow this harness across to the driver's side for our longer connector. So now we can come to our fuse box, pull up on the 2 tabs to pop our cover off, and then we're looking for this 15 amp fuse right here. So grab a pair of needle nose pliers, pull that out. And now our fuse tap already has 2 15 amp fuses. If it only had 1, we would put in our old one. So now with our fuse tap in place, you can throw your cover back on. And then we'll take our smaller connector and drop it down into our headlight bucket. And then we can bunch up all of our excess wire. Take a zip tie, tie it up, and then a pair of scissors to cut off the excess of the zip tie. Now we can run the connector with the longer wire over to our driver's side headlight bucket. So I'm going to go underneath of the radiator supports. And we're just going to be following this harness. We'll put a couple zip ties on there. Pull it through here. Drop it down into our headlight bucket, and then we'll just grab some zip ties and get this nice and tight up to the harness. A pair of scissors, cut off the excess of the zip tie. So now we're ready to install our new headlight. First, we're gonna have to get this adapter harness for our turn signal bulb. So we're gonna press in the tab and pop our bulb out. And then we'll plug the harness into the bulb, pop the other end back into that connector. And then we have this yellow wire that's gonna be going to the yellow wire on the back of our headlight. Now the connector that we added is going to go to the smaller connector, and then the bigger one's going to go to our normal body harness. I'm going to put the yellow wire through this gap here with the washer fluid. That way we can cleanly run it down towards our fog lights. And I'll plug that shorter connector in. Then we'll slide this into place. I'm going to thread in the bolt at the top just to hold that in place. And then we can grab that yellow wire off the back of our headlight and plug it into the yellow wire on our fog light. And now we can install the rest of our bolts. Now we can lift and line up our 2 bolt holes on the bottom. And then we'll just straighten out our headlight and take a 10mm socket to tighten down these 2 bolts. And now we'll do that same thing up top. And then you can repeat that process on the other side. So now I've got the front bumper resting on our crash bar. We can go ahead and grab our turn signal bulb and side marker. Twist those bulb sockets back into place. And then we'll plug in our fog light connectors. We'll do the same thing on the other side. And then we can slide our bumper into place. Next, we can come to our wheel well. We have these 2 studs that are sticking down that are going to go through our bumper. So we'll pop that into place. Now we usually have a nut for each. We're missing one of ours, so I'm just going to go on the outer one here. We'll get that a couple threads on, and then we'll take a 10mm socket to tighten it down. And then we can replace our fender liner. And then with that replaced, we can start threading in our Phillips head screws. Then you can take a stubby Phillips head screwdriver to tighten these down. And now I've turned our wheel the other way so that we have a little more access to our bottommost screw. And then you can repeat that same process on the other side. Next, we can hop back under our front bumper to reinstall those 4 bolts. Might be a little bit hard to see. Two directly in the center and 1 on each outer edge. And then we'll grab a 5.5mm socket to tighten these all down. Next, we can reinstall the 1 bolt on either side of the bumper at the top. Thread that in, take a 10mm socket, tighten it down. And then do that same thing on the other side. Now lastly, we can reinstall our radiator cover. We're going to slide this into this slot in the grill. And then we just need to reinstall all of our push clips. So that'll wrap up this review and install of the LED dual beam projector headlights with black housing and clear lens for your 05 to 09 Mustang with factory halogen headlights, excluding the GT500. Thank you for watching, and for all things Mustang, keep it right here at AmericanMuscle.com.